Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is your latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Riccardo Calafiori has given Arsenal the green light to go ahead and negotiate with Bologna to sign him. Arsenal have already presented the offer to the player, according to Fabrizio Romano. We are going to be diving into the Fabrizio Romano update. But of course, lots of stories right out there in Italy confirming the Arsenal are the team that are more likely now to sign Riccardo Calafiori. We are moving ahead of Juventus. We are also moving quickly and quicker than Chelsea. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. We have a poll ongoing right in the comment section. And the question is there for me is, how much should we be spending on Riccardo Calafiori in your opinion? Because it looks like now the player has no problem with moving to Arsenal. We thought it was one of those where the player is 100% locked onto Juventus, but it is not like that. He wants Juve. He would love to join Juve, but he has also given Arsenal green light to negotiate with Bologna to get that deal done. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream. This one is one that I thought I was going to do in a very, very short period of time. And I told you that the Riccardo Calafiori deal was always going to advance very quickly. It was always going to, have developments to it very quickly. So in the last 9 minutes, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Arsenal have presented a long-term proposal to Riccardo Calafiori after interest was revealed last week. He understands as well that the player is open to joining Arsenal if they can agree terms with Bologna. Chelsea are still there. Arsenal and Chelsea, the only two clubs in talks with Riccardo Calafiori right now. That is the first story I want us to, look into. The second one comes in from, another very, very interesting outlet, in Italy. An outlet that is very close to Juventus, an outlet that is very close to to Bologna as well. And they're saying that Arsenal are now close to completing the signing of Riccardo Calafiori, despite competition from PSG, Leverkusen, and Chelsea. Juventus is not mentioned anywhere, and that's the reason as to why I actually put up this tweet. They're also saying that Arsenal presented the Italian with the most intriguing project and offer. As a result, Arsenal are now the likeliest to sign Riccardo Calafiori. Two very interesting updates. We are not going to focus on this one because this one does not come in from a source as credible as Fabrizio Romano. So Fabrizio Romano today has confirmed that Riccardo Calafiori has given Arsenal the green light. He would love to join them. He has no problem with joining Arsenal if we can agree a deal with Bologna. I remember talking to Glenn last week, and he asked me whether this is a deal that Arsenal can go and agree with Bologna quickly. And I told him that the most important part of this deal is Riccardo Calafiori's preference. The most important part of this deal is whether Arsenal could agree terms with Riccardo Calafiori. Because we understand that since February, his preference has been Juventus. He was approached by Juventus in Feb, and they told him about the project. He had given them, a green light. He had given them an agreement in principle, and Juve thought they were going to sign him. So what Juve did, they actually went and got Thiago Motta, the manager from Bologna, and that actually meant that they would get two people or two personnel from Bologna. That was their plan. Initially, they wanted to get the manager, Thiago Motta, to work on a new project, and after working on a new project, they would actually see which players would fit the new project, and Riccardo Calafiori was one of them. However, Bologna were not happy with the fact that Juve took Thiago Motta, and they were not happy under the circumstances with which Juve took Thiago Motta. They were very, very angry, and yesterday, the director Sartori came out and said, we are not going to sell to Juventus. It is 100% confirmed. We don't want to sell to Juve. If he's going to leave Bologna this summer, he's going to go abroad. Within the next 24 hours, this actually breaks out. The Arsenal have presented their long-term proposal to Riccardo Calafiori, which means, by the way, I want to make you understand this. When a team like Arsenal present their formal offer to a player like Riccardo Calafiori, it means that they have already told Bologna that they are interested in Riccardo Calafiori, and they have already sought and asked for permission because the player is under contract. You just can't, you don't wake up in the morning and pick up your phone because you have the number of the guy and call him. He's still under contract. You can't call him, you can't contact him and talk about personal terms and talk about long-term futures as if it's like a wedding arrangement. It is not a wedding arrangement, right? So for you to talk to Calafiori, we had to first get permission from Bologna, which means that Bologna were very sure Arsenal were talking to Calafiori. They knew that Arsenal were talking to Calafiori, and that's why Sartori said yesterday with a lot of confidence, if he's going to leave, if he's going to leave Bologna, it is going to be to a club abroad. That shows you that he knew something already was going on. Obviously, I'm going to talk about Chelsea. I don't want to underestimate them. I don't want to underrate them in this deal. But because it's going to be an expensive deal, that might be one reason that Juventus and Chelsea are out. And that's why I've asked you, how much should Arsenal pay for Riccardo Calafiori? Right in the comments there. So I want you to vote, but I want you to let me know in the comment section, how much should Arsenal pay for Riccardo Calafiori? We are talking, fees in excess of 50 million because Basel have a 50% sell-on clause. So it means that if Bologna is selling for 50 million, Basel are going to take 25. The way that works is you're going to have to pay more money so that Bologna are happy to part with 50% with Basel. But this stage, where we are in the transfer window, it is day 3, right? It is day 3 ever since I said that we are going to do deals in July. It is day 3 ever since I said Arsenal transfers have begun. And you can hear and you can see a lot of stories coming out. We expect a David Ornstein bomber very, very soon, probably on probably on personal terms, probably on a bid. Something's going to come out of David Ornstein very soon. But Fabrizio is closer to Italy. Fabrizio is closer to Bologna. Fabrizio would be closer to Juventus. And he understands the situation around Italian clubs better than David Ornstein would, right? But at the moment, I am still waiting for that David Ornstein, update. It's going to be very satisfying. So where are we? Let's start off there. Where are we now? So that you can understand. Where we are, Arsenal have talked to Bologna. They understand that Arsenal are interested in the player, but Arsenal have not agreed anything with Bologna. Arsenal have also not entered negotiations with Bologna as per time of live streaming this one. Also, Arsenal have now presented their offer to the player, and the player has accepted it. So that means that Arsenal have leapfrogged Chelsea in this deal, Bayer Leverkusen and PSG, because all these other clubs have not had the green light from the players' camp to go and negotiate with Bologna. It doesn't make any sense for a club to agree a deal and then try to agree personal terms. I think I like the way Arsenal do it. With Arsenal, we usually first agree personal terms with the player, or we first get the green light of the player. We are 100% sure that the player wants to play for us, that the player wants to join us. Then we can go into negotiations with the club. I mean, we've done it a few times and it has worked, and I like the way it works. I think there was a story. It was Brentford. Was it Brentford? Yeah, it was Brentford who had agreed a deal for Archie Gray. And then I think they had not agreed personal terms with Archie Gray. They were taking him on a medical, probably. That's what Fabrizio said, and then he ends up at Tottenham. So Arsenal don't want to find themselves in such a situation. You agree a deal with a player, you agree a deal with a club, you bring him for medicals, and then all of a sudden he's doing medicals at another club. That's what Mikel doesn't want. That is what Edu doesn't want. They want to invest their time in a player and in a project that really wants to be with them. So right now, we are at the same level as Juventus. They have not gone away. They have not gone away, guys, but we are at the same level at Juventus in terms of this deal. If Juventus pay more money than Arsenal, they'll get him. If Arsenal pay more money than Juventus, they will get him. Because now we are on the same track and we are at the same level in terms of personal terms with the player. Fabrizio says that personal terms are now not a problem. They should be ironed out very, very soon. Obviously, you have those few things that should be put in. How many games am I going to play? How much am I going to earn in wages? Contract amortization. There's so many things that happen with personal terms, and I'll let you know if personal terms have been agreed. But at least now we can confirm that the player has accepted to join Arsenal. Green light for Arsenal to negotiate with Bologna. We have that. Now, our situation, guys, can easily change. And Arsenal have to move very quickly on this deal. This is not a situation where Arsenal are like, it's over. We have agreed a deal with the player. It's actually over. No. Chelsea can also come in and present their offer to Calafiori. Because the way this one works is yesterday, Bologna confirmed that they're not going to keep the player. And probably that also points to the fact that they know how interested Arsenal are. They know how strong Arsenal are going to go for Riccardo Calafiori, right? So, but Bologna said yesterday that they know they're not going to keep the player. They know that if they want to be realistic, this is not a player that they're actually going to keep beyond this summer. That means that they will allow a couple of clubs to talk to Riccardo Calafiori. The way they did with Juventus, the way they have done with Arsenal, the way Chelsea, it's the same way they will do it with Chelsea, same way they'll do it with PSG, same way they'll do it with Leverkusen. Now, I think Leverkusen are kind of the old men out in this deal, because if Arsenal have agreed personal terms, or if Arsenal have actually been accepted by Calafiori, when you look at the Arsenal project, honestly, Leverkusen, why are you trying to waste your time trying to sign the same player as PSG and the same player as Arsenal? Why are you trying to waste your time? It doesn't make any sense. Walk away quickly. This is not your deal. If you're Leverkusen, this is not your deal. In the same room where there is Calafiori, where there is Arsenal, in the same room where there is PSG, this is not your table to sit on, Leverkusen. With all due respect, walk away. Simply walk away, right? So the proposals that Calafiori will be interested in, he'll be interested in that PSG proposal because it comes with a lot of money, honestly. And of course, if he's not going to play at home, then he would rather consider the money. If you're not going to play for Juventus, if you're not going to play for Roma, Inter Milan, AC Milan, which is like, I want to stay home. If you're gonna go abroad, you got to make the money, right? So PSG, I'm afraid of them, but also because PSG have a project that no one talks about. They have brought in the likes of Vitinha, they have the likes of Zayn Emery, the likes of Bakola, Dembele, Randall Colomwani, Donnarumma, a couple of players there that they have actually put together, and it's a very interesting project. So they can also sell him to that project, and has a very, very good manager, by the way, something that people don't talk about. So PSG have a good project. Chelsea, do they have a good project? That is where I also am going to say Chelsea walk away from this one. Chelsea really walk away. I don't see Chelsea gaining an advantage over PSG and over Arsenal. The only advantage they have over PSG is that Chelsea are playing in the Premier League, and maybe all players want to play in the Premier League if lies are to be believed. But if lies are not to be believed, not every player wants to play in the Premier League. Okay, maybe many players wants to play in the Premier League, but not every player. So Chelsea, the only advantage they have in this one is that they play in the Premier League. But Arsenal are in the Champions League. PSG are in the Champions League. Did you ever make it to the Champions League, guys? Yeah, they did. They did. Were they second or third? I think they were around second or third. They were second to, I think they were third to Milan. AC Milan, right? AC Milan, right? So they were third. So for me, the most interesting offers to Calafiori, and I want to know what Arsenal really told him, they should have come from Juve, and Juve would have given him the option to play in the Champions League, to be a more important player at a bigger club like Juventus. But most importantly, they will have given him that option of rejoining and reuniting and working with his ex-manager, a manager that understands him, a manager that plays a system that suits his demands. PSG, like I said, that project, It's a brilliant project, right? But maybe it doesn't want to go to France. That is the disappointing part when it comes to PSG. It's a one-man league. It's a one-team league. It's a one-horse race. When they're competing with FC Lens, they're competing with Montpellier, they're competing with Bordeaux, clubs that will never ever make it to 95 points, right? So you don't want to go to PSG. It's a one team league. Unless it's just the Champions League that you're looking for, there's no reason for you to go to PSG, and apart from the money. So Arsenal look like they're the most, and we are the most expensive and most attractive project Calafiori can choose right now. We are the most lucrative project he can look into and say, this is where I want to be. They're in the Champions League. They're going head to head with Manchester United, Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool. Most people underrate this, but Arsenal going into title races with Liverpool's and beating Liverpool, with Man City and coming second to Man City on 2 occasions. Arsenal being years ahead of Manchester United, Arsenal being years ahead of all these other clubs. That is something special. That is something that many clubs would want. That is something that many players will actually want to be part of. So I'm not surprised that he's choosing Arsenal. I'm not surprised that he's told all these other clubs, it doesn't, you don't have the project I want. You don't have what I want, right? I think Arsenal are the place I have to be, apart from Juventus, obviously. I want to see how many of you are saying that. So the price, most of you are saying 40 million should be the price. 50 million, 38%. And of course, for 30 million, only 11%. So now I understand this. I really, really do. By the way, this is a very knowledgeable community. That shows me that I have a very knowledgeable community. So Riccardo Calafiori's price. That is the next big step. After getting green light from the player, now Arsenal have to work quickly and move quickly to agree the price. This is why. Whatever we have given to Calafiori, clubs are now going to know. Clubs might know. It might leak. Clubs might know what Arsenal are giving to Riccardo Calafiori. And therefore, you might see an offer close to what Arsenal have offered Calafiori, or even better. So in terms of the price, this is where this deal is going to be very interesting. Listen, Juventus have already told Bologna that their demands are too high for them. And that's why, by the way, Juventus are very big on signing Jakub Kiwior. And this deal is very important in the future of Jakub Kiwior at Arsenal. If Arsenal can get Riccardo Calafiori, it's over, right? It's over. Calafiori comes in. Kiwior leaves. I was looking at the Ghana Talk, one of my favorite content creators as well in this Arsenal space, and he was saying that there is a sudden change in views on Jakub Kiwior, right? He says he is convincing. He's a good player and a good option in terms of squad depth. But at the moment, right? If you bring in a player like Calafiori, then Jakub Kiwior's position at Arsenal and role at Arsenal is dead, right? Jakub Kiwior's position and role at Arsenal is dead. Unless Arsenal get rid of Zinchenko, Kiwior has got to leave. And the thing with Kiwior is that he's got more value if you're going to sell him this summer than any of the other players that we are looking to sell. Be it Zinchenko, be it Cedric who left on a free, any other players, right? So right now, Kiwior is the player that clubs want in Italy. Milan want him, Napoli want him, Juve want him, and that tells you that he could be the player that leaves Arsenal this summer, and then Calafiori comes in. So this deal really is going to determine what happens with Kiwior. But in terms of the price, we know that Basel have a 50% buy, not buyback option, but sell-on clause. It means that Bologna, whatever Bologna sell the player for, FC Basel in Switzerland are going to get 50% of that. That's ridiculous. Like, I agree with Glenn, right? whoever did this kind of deal for Basel should be signed by Arsenal right away. We should have got a 50% sell-on clause on Omar Hutchinson. We should have got a 50% sell-on clause for Omar Hutchinson. So whoever did this deal for Basel, they should sign for Arsenal right away. Go and get him and give him whatever he wants. Now, how much do we pay? 30 million to 30 to 35 million is a little bit too little, right? And I think what we don't want to do, and what we have not done usually in the past these days, we don't want to, offend Bologna. We don't want to annoy them. We don't want to disrespect them. We really, really don't want to do that. You don't want to, do a deal with Bologna where they're expecting 50 million, they're expecting 60 million maybe, and then you come in with 20 million or 30 million. That will be disrespectful, and this is a deal that is really delicate. If you dare disrespect them, they're going to walk away and they're going to go to another club that has the money, or another club that they think is respectful enough. So I wish that Arsenal don't fumble this deal. I wish that we respect them. So 30 to 35 million, that's a little bit too low. 40 million to 45. I think that is where Arsenal should stand. That is where Arsenal should stand. 40 to 45 million. The thing with 40 to 45 million, in my opinion, is we're talking about a talent that has just come out of the blue somehow. He has had a good season last season and he's had a good Euros. 40 million is enough for such a player. And then if we add the Euros tax on top of Calafiori's on top of Calafiori's value, then 50 million, right? This is a deal that I don't see go below 40 million. If Arsenal agree a deal for Calafiori for anything less than 40 million, sensational, right? Very, that would be sensational. Fabrizio says that Arsenal have a good relationship with Bologna after the Tomiyasu deal. The request has, okay, now we have the price, guys. We have the price. We have the price. We have the price. We have the price. It has been said, right? It has been said. So Fabrizio has said this. Mikel Arteta approved Italian defender, part of 3 defenders list, target list. So Arsenal have 3 defenders that we are looking at. Arsenal have a good relationship with Bologna after the Tomiyasu deal. Bologna have requested for 50 million euros. Arsenal have still not yet taken a new bid. Chelsea would offer players as part of the deal. Guys, Chelsea are out. Chelsea are out. Chelsea are out. Like, remember when Arsenal, when Fabrizio reported, I think it was on the Rafinha deal, right? It was on the Rafinha deal. The Arsenal, Arsenal are there. Arsenal want to add players in the deal. When Fabrizio says that your club watching the situation, when Fabrizio says that your club wants to add players, to join players to get that deal done, just know that your club is the nonsense of the deal. Just know that your club is doing nonsense in that deal. You're not even being considered. For Chelsea, they're out. They're purely. I'm sorry, they're purely out. Right? They're purely out. But Mikel Arteta is serious about a defender, by the way. He has 3 options. 3 options, right? So it looks like we are very interested in getting a defender. And regardless of who comes in, we will get someone. We have 3 options. So it means that all people who have been saying, Riccardo, Calafiori, why are we going for a left back? Mikel Arteta has a huge list of defenders. And I would really want to know who are the other 2. Now, I know that Scholterback is one of the players that Arsenal have been scouting for quite some time. I also know that Maguire is there and Fadika Dioglu. But I want to know, apart from Riccardo Calafiori, who are the others? So Bologna asking for 50 million euros. So whoever is saying 40 million pounds, you're spot on. And whoever is saying 50 million pounds, you're spot on. The vote is still saying that 51% of you would be willing to part with around 40 million pounds. 50 million euros, how much is that in pounds? I think that's around 43 million pounds. I think that's around 43 million pounds. I'm surprised. I'm really, really surprised. Like, guys, I'm not going to be surprised if this is the deal that we do within the next 24 hours. Because Arsenal, with all honesty, we paid 15 million for Jakub Kivio. We paid 18 million for Tomiyasu. We paid 50 million pounds for Ben White. I'm not saying he's better than Ben White because Ben White had played in the championship and he had also played at a decent club like Brighton. With all due respect, Bologna are not a decent club, which would make a lot of sense for them to have a good defender. Then we paid. How much did we pay for Julian Timber? 35 million. It was around 40. It was around 45 million euros. So again, that is around 38 million pounds. So when you look at the range of prices, the Arsenal have been splashing on defenders, 27 million pounds on Gabriel Magalhaes way back in 2021, I think. When you think about the range of money that we've been spending on defenders, 35 million on Zinchenko, this guy is in that region, right? If this was a deal, the Arsenal were told to pay 60 million, 70 million, I'll be like, no, Arsenal are not going to pay 60 million pounds for a 22-year-old or 70 million pounds on a 20-year-old. Arsenal have been told to pay 42 million pounds on a defender that has been the best at the Euros. I'm going to annoy you, but for me, he has had better performances than William Saliba at the Euros. Because honestly, I don't think that Italy did dominate games. They played against Spain, where they were really totally dominated. They played against Croatia, they were totally dominated. And even against Albania, this Italian defense had to put in a great shift because Albania was not as bad as people thought, eventually. So Calafiori to go for 42 million, pay that money. I want to hear done deal. I want to hear that the deal is done. Why haven't we paid yet? Why haven't we paid? Let's go and get this deal done. Guys, you can't negotiate on 42 million. You can't negotiate. You can't negotiate on this deal. This is a deal that PSG want to do. Leverkusen want to do. Who else? Who else wants to do this deal? Chelsea want to do. Juve want to do. And although all these clubs think that the price is up, Arsenal will have that money and Arsenal will be willing to splash 40 million on Riccardo Calafiori because we have already spent money in that region between 15 million to 50 million pounds. This is a deal that is less than 50 million pounds. We are going to do this deal. On a scale of 1 to 10, I've brought it back. On a scale of 1 to 10, I can see Arsenal complete this deal 7 times out of 10. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Riccardo Calafiori. If no one hijacks the deal, right? Because there is this what should I call it? There is this situation where a new club comes in and they offer ridiculous prices and they offer a ridiculous offer to the player. But if it is not a ridiculous offer for the player, if it is not a ridiculous price, right? Arsenal are going to sign Riccardo Calafiori. This one, I told you already, a couple of days ago. This one feels like an Arsenal deal, right? Fadika Dioglu, cheap, but it doesn't really make you feel like it's an Arsenal deal. Fadika Dioglu to Arsenal, yeah, but it doesn't really make you feel like it's an Arsenal deal. But Riccardo Calafiori, Italian centre back like Tomiyasu, like Kivio, these players that we've signed from Italy, defenders we have signed from Italy. I don't know whether it's a pattern, but Arsenal are increasingly following defenders from Italy. Remember Aaron Hickey? Aaron Hickey is another player that we were going to get from Bologna, and then the deal eventually became favorable for Brentford, and he went to Brentford. Then Tomiyasu from Bologna, right? We got that deal done. Then from Spezia, we got Kivio. So that shows you that there's a belief in Arsenal that Italian clubs make good defenders. Whether those defenders are Italian or not, they make good defenders. And I'm not going to lie, Tomiyasu is a decent defender. Kivio is a decent defender, and even Aaron Hickey that we didn't get, that guy is good. Like when you play against Brentford, you can feel you can feel that he's such a very very good player. There's a lot of updates coming on this one, so I want to. I'll keep you updated as we are live. So Team News says Arsenal are yet to make an offer. We know that, and they're saying the club is happy to be linked to him, which is one of the because he's one of the two priorities at Arsenal right now. Interesting. Arsenal are confident he will be he will be theirs regardless of competition. Interesting. So he's one of two players that Arsenal consider top priorities at left back, and Arsenal are confident he's going to be ours. I don't want to say much in terms of that because it comes from Team News and Ticks, but I've told you this summer, if you hear me say Team News and Ticks, if you hear me say David Onstein, if you hear me say Fabrizio Romano, be very excited. And of course, the other outlet that always gives you reliable information is the Guardian, the Athletic, and of course, David Onstein works for the Athletic, the Guardian, the Athletic. I'm forgetting one. Bild in Germany. I'm really forgetting one. The Guardian, the Athletic. I've just forgotten one, but of course, if I remember, I'll let you know. Now, what are we all saying in the comments? Let me know how much you'll be paying, or you'll be willing to pay for Riccardo Calafiori. Let me know how much are you willing to pay for Riccardo Calafiori. But that 50 million euros price, that is a bargain. If I hear that Arsenal are saying that reduce that price, I will disown this club. Njeru Ibrahim says, hey, Cossy, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Thank you so much. Emmanuel says, bro, you are the best for updating us every day. Thank you so much, Emma. Thank you so much. If you're just joining us, we can confirm that Arsenal have been accepted by Riccardo Calafiori. Arsenal have been accepted by Riccardo Calafiori. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that the player will want to join Arsenal if Arsenal agree a deal between them and Bologna. Bologna have also made it very clear that a deal between 50 million euros and above will be sufficient enough to get the deal done. So if Arsenal are wise, they should bid right now. Swahib says, common Arsenal, we negotiate very, very fast. Otherwise, hijackers, FC are around the corner. I mean, you've got to, what Arsenal have to do is to look around the corner of our eye. We should be using the corners of our eyes to look into the side mirrors. Chelsea, PSG, and Juventus. Now, if what Arsenal can do with this one is we can pay more money than Leverkusen can, and we can pay more money than Juventus can. The problem is that Chelsea will have the money and PSG will have the money. So all we can do is move quickly. All we can do is get this deal done very, very quickly, right? Okay, thank you so much, Muzamil. That's a very good comment. And then Christopher says he's a good player to pattern with Saliba because last time we missed Martinez, give them 50 million. Wow, that's a standing ovation for that comment. Standing ovation for that comment, right? Hit the like button for that guy. Hit the like button for that guy. He reminds me, and he brings up a very important point. Mikel Arteta, before signing Alexander Zinchenko, you remember the player he wanted? Anyone remembers? Lisandro Martinez. That is the player that he wanted to use at left back. That is the player that we were trying to sign for actually 50 million. And Lisandro Martinez called Mikel Arteta and he told him, I respect the Arsenal project. I would love to play for Arsenal. I would love to be a part of your project. It's a very interesting project. But really at the moment, I want to join Eric Ten Hag. I've talked to Eric and I want to be part of him. I've worked with him and I want to continue working with Eric Ten Hag. So he didn't reject Arsenal and the project. He still wanted to work with Eric Ten Hag. But the most important part of this comment, thank you so much. Who is this? Christopher, thank you so much. This is a very intelligent comment. The important part of that observation is that ever since then, right? Ever since missing out on Lisandro Martinez, Arsenal have signed 3 players that can play at, actually 4 players that can play at left back, but all of them, except one, have been center backs. Zinchenko was the second option to Lisandro Martinez. He was not a center back, but also Zinchenko is never classified as a left back. He's a guy who plays in midfield that is forced to play at left back. But anyway, we signed Zinchenko. After Zinchenko, Arsenal signed Kivio. Kivio is a center back that Mikel Arteta has been trying out at left back. We signed Julian Timber. Timber is actually a center back who plays as a right back that Mikel Arteta forced into left back. So when you think about that, right? I think Tomiyasu signed before. No, Tomiyasu I think signed before Zinchenko. Tomiyasu signed before Zinchenko. But again, Mikel Arteta has used Tomiyasu on the left, and Tomiyasu is a center back. So that shows you the idea of what Mikel Arteta is trying to do. He's trying to sign defenders or players that are comfortable in the left position of the defense, but are very good on the ball. Tomiyasu comfortable on the ball, Kivio comfortable on the ball, Zinchenko comfortable on the ball, and Julian Timber, one of the best players that we have comfortable on the ball, maybe apart from Jorginho, maybe, right? So that's a good comment, Chris. Thank you. Isaac says, hey, Cossy, thanks for the update. Thank you so much. Someone says 50 million is enough. Francis says, I believe 50 million is not bad because of his talent and young lads like him. I would definitely buy him for the amount, says Francis. Thank you so much, Francis. This is Nkurunzinza, who says, hi, Cossy, thanks for the updates, man. Thank you. Thank you so much for appreciating. Martin says, thanks, Cossy, for updating us. But I think Arsenal should give them 50 million so as to negotiate it very early to avoid hijackers. Remember, there is a deal Arsenal are trying to do with a German international, and we are keeping it secret to avoid hijackers. But the thing with the Calafiori one, you can't avoid hijackers in this deal. You can't avoid other clubs trying to come in and trying to sign him. The reason here is, think about it, guys. Think about it. Riccardo Calafiori is wanted by the whole world, almost, right? If Barca had the money, they would even be here. And Bologna are not stupid. They're not going to agree a backroom deal with one club, closing out the rest. Why would they want to do that? Why would they want that? Yes, we can do it quickly, but Bologna are going to take their time. They're going to shout whenever Arsenal bid 40 million, Bologna are going to shout to the whole world. Arsenal bid 40 million. Does anyone have more than 40 million? When Arsenal bid 45, they will shout, Arsenal bid 45. Does anyone have more than 45 million? It's going to be like an auction. It's going to be like an auction, right? It has to be like an auction for Bologna because they want the highest bidder. They want the most amount of money, right? They want the most amount of money. Okay, Uche says good news. Cossy, keep it up. Thank you so much. This is Kiprotich, who says, let's go for him, Gunners. Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, White will be the best defense in the world. It has got to be one of the best defenses in the world. I'm intrigued to see where he plays Julian Timber. I'm intrigued to see where he really, really plays Julian Timber because we might see Timber play like Lodri. We might see Julian Timber play in that Lodri role. It's Mikel Arteta. You never know. Okay, but thank you so much. Anderson says it's okay. Mark says, is Calafiori better than Magalhaes? You've killed me. People, let's have it. Is Calafiori better than Magalhaes? Is he better than Magalhaes? Because I wouldn't really commit. Right? But I can compare them for you. Now, guys, we have so many people watching, but the likes are very low. Please hit the like button. If you don't hit the like button, we don't sign Calafiori. So hit the like button. So if I was to give you a picture of the two players, I think both of them are really interesting center backs. In terms of defensive ounce and defensive solidity, I would still pick Gabriel. The thing with Gabriel is, apart from his silly mistakes, like the one he did against Bayern, just put the ball out of play. As simple as that. If he puts the ball out of play, Arsenal don't concede that goal. Quick, easy. So apart from his defensive mistakes that at times very stupid, by the way. I would rate him more than Calafiori, and this is the reason. He's got more experience. Calafiori is a 22-year-old defender. He's going to make mistakes that Gabriel made 2 years ago, that Gabriel has recovered from or has moved on from 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So defensively, Gabriel will be the solid player. On the ball, Calafiori is 1 million times better than any player Arsenal play with at centre back. That excludes Julian Timber, obviously. So on the ball, Calafiori is much better than Gabriel. He can drive, he can beat a press, he can attack, right? Which defender have we seen do that very well in world football? Would you say Carlos Puyol or Piqué? He's got that breed of Carlos Puyol, Piqué. They are very comfortable in possession, and you can see Gabriel at times. He's not comfortable in possession. He's looking here and there, and it's easy to dispossess Gabriel. With Calafiori, you have a player who is very good in possession. In terms of scoring goals, Big Gabby scores goals. God, we've got to say it. We've got to say it. If we don't say it on our own channels, the rival fans are not going to give him the credit he deserves. He scores goals. He's like a striker. Big Gabby scores goals. So I think I've done it. I don't know if I've done a good job trying to compare them for you. Oliver says, Mr. Cossy, if Calafiori joins Arsenal, you think who can come from the bench? Okay, what are the changes that will happen if we get Riccardo Calafiori? If we get Riccardo Calafiori for 50 million, he starts. He starts with Gabriel. He starts with Saliba. He starts with Ben White. So I think Kivio will leave. This hurts me to say, but Kivio will leave. Then Zinchenko will be rotated with Calafiori, depending on games, but also depending on what we need at a particular moment in a game, right? If a game asks for Arsenal to have more defensive output, then we might see Tomiyasu start. But if a game, if it's a regular game and Arsenal can attack and be attacked, we will see Calafiori. If it's a game where Arsenal are going to attack and attack and attack and attack and attack, we're going to see Zinchenko. So Calafiori starts, Zinchenko on the bench, and Tomiyasu on the bench as well. Matiko says Arteta and Edu should react quickly in signing Riccardo Calafiori because most clubs are aware that Arsenal has great scouts while monitoring the best players. I mean, we are not the only ones that have scouted him on this one. We are not the only one that have scouted him. We're not the only one. Farmside says, hey, bro, well done. I'm happy with this guy. Peter says, Cossy, this is good news. Mark says, I can see Timber on the bench. I can't see Timber on the bench. Ben or Gabi will have to be on the bench if we sign Calafiori. Timber is too good, but the thing with Mikel Arteta is that at times he evolves his tactics. So has he evolved his tactics beyond Timber? Remains to be seen. But I also don't see Timber on the bench very much. Okay. Nim says, hi, Cossy, signing Calafiori, does it mean that Timber will be back playing at right back? Yeah, there's a possibility. There's a possibility that we might see Timber play on the right-hand side of the defense. We might also see Saliba drop to the bench. I'm lying. Kevin says, hi, Cossy, Calafiori would be a good signing. Let's go for... we need to let go of Zinchenko or Kivio. Morgan says, good evening, Cossy. Have seen some clips of this lad. He is dope, but I have a feeling that Arteta is playing this boy as 8. Is going to play this boy as 8 and Rice as 6. Just watch out if Arteta still have other options. Okay. Oliver says, Mr. Cossy, according to your investigation, which player did Arsenal willing to sign from Germany? I think I have 3 options. There is Kimmich. I think Kimmich is a concrete option. Schlotterbeck is a concrete option. Kimmich and Schlotterbeck, a concrete option. And then I still have a feeling that it could be Niklas Füllkrug. But of course, I have we've discussed that in the morning show, and we'll continue to get more updates as the Euros progress. Right after this week, we should come closer to understanding who that German player is. Don't worry. Okay. Thank you so much, Oliver. By the way, for watching always. Prudence says, Cossy, Arsenal are going for Nico. Arsenal going for Nico, Trossard, and Martinelli. I think it's not necessary. It's not necessary to go for Nico with Martinelli and Trossard. Let's see what's going to develop in the winger areas. Let's see what's going to develop. Hi Cossy, how is Lokonga? Hi Cossy, is Lokonga leaving Arsenal? Yes, it's confirmed. It's confirmed. Lokonga is leaving Arsenal. I would love to. Maybe I would have loved him to stay. I don't know. I don't want to be like a hypocrite, but I can confirm that Lokonga is leaving Arsenal. I can confirm that. King says, thanks for what you are doing. We really appreciate you. I mean, I kind of see some negative people on my comments, and I'm like, maybe people don't appreciate, but thank you so much for the positive energy, guys. Thank you so much. Okala says, Cossy update to the new signing. Okay, let me give you the update on Riccardo Calafiori once again, if you're just joining us. Riccardo Calafiori has given Arsenal the green light to go and negotiate for him with Bologna. If Arsenal agree a price between them and Bologna, Arsenal will sign Riccardo Calafiori because they are already agreed to play for Arsenal. The price that has been set by Bologna is 50 million euros, which means that it is less than 45 million pounds. Okay, Okello says, Cossy, thank you so much, Okello. Crypto says we can get him for Crypto Temple. We can get him for 45 million euros. Look, it depends. They might have set the price as their initial asking price and it's going to go down, or they might have set that price as the last one, right? They're clubs that don't do nonsense. You see what they've done with the Joshua Zirkzee deal. 34 million release clause, you either have it or not. So, there's some trash clubs that are trying to sign Zirkzee, and I think Zirkzee is also a good player. Greetings from Sierra Leone, West Africa. Greeting to you, Muhammad. Says, thanks, Brother Cossy, for being reliable and consistent in updating us with Arsenal news. Thank you so much. I mean, I think I've done a good job in terms of getting you to know what is happening with the window. And I've also done a good job in terms of being here every day. I deserve that credit. Swipe says 55 million for Kala to Arsenal is okay. Taibu says, Cossy, I always listen to you. Good job. Please, I want to get this guy before I quit the club. Please, Arsenal, pay 51 million to be on a safe side. Yeah, 100%. Guys, 100%. If Arsenal have to pay 51 million, pay 51 million. If we have to pay 51.5 million, pay 51.5 million. Ken says, hey, this is Ken Justin. I think he's a good player. And Julius says, hi, Cossy. Thanks for the update. Okay. He should be bought for 50 million. Kay says, I've been watching him. He's great to play with William Saliba. I don't think Gabriel is going to drop. Guys, do you think that we might see maybe Gabriel leave Arsenal at some point in time? I want to tell you something. Gabriel Magalhaes was approached by Saudi Arabia, by a consortium from Saudi Arabia last summer. I cannot confirm that he was either close to leaving or not, but I can confirm that he was approached by a consortium from Saudi Arabia last summer. So you never know what could happen. Okay, 40 million is okay because of financial fair play. We still have to play to play. We still have so much to do, and we still have so much to pay for a striker. That is Oluwaseyi. Okay. And then Michael, Tomio Michael says, Mike from Kenya, Cossy Calafiori would be better at left back. I think he's going to play at left back. I really, really think he's going to play at left back. I don't see him play. I think he's going to play at left back. I'm not going to lie. I also think he's going to play at left back. Sam says, we need to sign a striker whatsoever. Either Gyökeres or Osimhen should be in that squad if we ever want to win silverware this coming season. Wefafa says 50 million is worth. Roland Sunday says, it is time we get rid of deadwoods and bring in fresh competitors in all needed areas. Well, I think we've done well in terms of creating our own clean squad. I think Arsenal have one of the cleanest squads in Europe. When I think about what Chelsea have, when I think about what other clubs have to deal with, I'm like, Arsenal are okay. We are not in a bad position. Joseph says Arsenal need a striker. UG Best says greetings from Biafra land. Cossy, I think eventually we sign Calafiori. My opinion is once Arsenal is leading, and wanted to defend, I bet you Timber will be in the 4 while Calafiori will be blocking. Fam says, hey, bro, has Timber ever played in six? Yes, he's ever played there. He's ever played there. Ajax is one of those teams that really try players in different positions. Isaac says, I hate Juve, so I would like to see Kivio join Bologna as part of the deal. Wow. Ken says, if we get him, we are ready for next season. Chinonso says Arsenal should give Bologna 50 million ASAP. So look, most of you agree that 50 million is worth. Most of you agree that the deal is good. I like that. Morgan says, Cossy, what if Edu was negotiating about Gabi M when he went to Saudi? Wow, wow, wow. I mean, you guys have you guys have interesting lines of thought. It could happen because the reason as to why a club like Arsenal open up negotiations with Saudi Arabia. I mean, listen, it is to get links there. It is to get a market there. So if we can offload some of our players to Saudi Arabia, I can see that happen. I really, really can see that happen. Vincent, Harrison says, is watching, and he says you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Thank you so much, guys. First and foremost, thank you so much for giving me that positive energy. As a creator, at times I lack the energy to come live. At times I lack the energy to press record because I get tired. I'm working on a few things, but when you give me that positive energy, I definitely feel like this is this is the place to be. Thank you so much. Calafiori to Arsenal is ongoing. Let's see if we can get it done. I hope we don't get disappointed. Hit the like button, and we'll be back soon.